Can I wear my slop head?
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Jen. I am the owner of Beauty Mark. I opened the business about 3 years ago, and I do microblading and powder brows alongside one of the most talented makeup artists that I know. Her name is CJ. She's also one of my brow stylists. And ever since we opened, we both gift cancer survivors and patients eyebrows, about 2 to 3 a month, but we won't turn anyone away. About 15 minutes, I do have a client who just got diagnosed with breast cancer. Her name is Casey. She is going to have her port put in next week, so I wanted to see her as soon as I could before the hair loss process. I'm very excited to meet her. I'll walk you guys through the process when she comes in. What hospital do you go to?
Queens and Capilani Medical Center for Women and Children.
Oh, okay.
So my oncologist is at Capilani Medical Center for Women and Children.
Oh.
And then the breast surgeon and the reconstruction surgeon is at
Queens. So Dr. Miyashiro is Queens. Or, sorry, both. Wait.
She's Capilani Medical Center for Women and Children.
Okay.
She's awesome.
Good. How old are you?
43.
Wow, really?
I didn't know that was considered young for breast cancer.
Oh, I wasn't that. It was just like you seem a lot younger.
Oh, I try. Well, no, but I didn't realize that it's considered young, because they said start getting mammograms at 40.
Right.
But they even had me do they had me donate my tumor to research for early onset breast cancer. It's because I fell into this category of early cancer.
Does this run in your family? No.
That's why it was so shocking too.
Yeah.
It started off as like a small indentation.
And you noticed it?
And I noticed it, but when I had my first mammogram when I was 40, they said I had cystic breast. So I thought that's just what it was. And then it started to grow pretty rapidly, like the indentation.
Oh, wow.
So from like the size of like probably nickel into a couple of inches from March until October.
Wow, that's just a few months.
Yeah, so it was fast. And I guess part of being younger, the cancer can grow faster because your cells are dividing quicker.
So you've already had a double mastectomy?
Yeah, I had that in December. That was rough.
And did you get expanders?
I have those in right now.
Oh, you do?
I keep them covered.
So you have the expanders, but not yet the implants?
No, they were going to do the exchange in June. But because now I have to have chemo, they have to put that on.
Oh, okay.
I found out I had to have chemo, I went into like survival mode. So I just started researching a whole bunch of different stuff, and then I saw you on Yelp, and there's an article from KITV News.
Oh, nice.
Because you did an interview a couple years ago.
It was actually this past October. So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I wanted to do something a little more than the 2 to 3 a month. So I decided to use October as a no limit, for the cancer patients and survivors.
I thought that was amazing, and I was like, oh no, it's not October. I wonder if she can fit me in.
Yeah, when I read your email, I was like, because you said something like, I heard sometimes you do it, and it's like, no, not sometimes, all the time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So did you get your date for when you're gonna get your port in?
No, I was deciding between a port and a PICC line.
Oh.
They were giving me the option, but I think I'm going to do the port.
The port? Yeah. You'll be fine. You're gonna have brows.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Do you have any questions?
Do you need to see when they look normal? Because right now they don't even look normal.
No.
Okay.
So this is the process. So I'll take you back there. I'm gonna draw out your eyebrows according to your face shape. So your nose, your eyes, pupil, eyelash, and then I'll draw the frame out for you. I'll have you take a look, and then if you're comfortable with it, we'll get started. For first-time clients, I don't like to go too dark, too thick, or too long. because once it's on there and you call me tomorrow and you're like, oh, it's too thick, I can't do anything about it. But it does include a touch-up in 4 to 8 weeks. But in your case, if because when you are on chemo, you have your good weeks and your bad week. So if you happen to have a good week that week, you can go ahead and text me, and then I'll try and get you in.
Is it okay if it's longer than that? Because
it's okay if
due
it's
to infection.
Right, and it's okay if it's after. Yeah. But just you have my contact, so whenever you're ready to get the touch-up, just let me know and I'll get you in.
And I'm asymmetrical, so
everyone is asymmetrical. Okay. So and whatever frame I draw on you, it's gonna look a little thicker than what it's actually gonna be, because once the numbing wears off, everything's gonna shrink a little bit, and the color's gonna fade by about 40 to 50%, especially if you come after 8 weeks. Yeah.
I've had them dyed before or tinted. Same thing, like where they are so dark, like the first day, and then
right. And microblading will last a lot longer than tinting. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. You can follow me. She was probably like my third microblading client when I first started, so I had to pretend I was confident enough. She was a Zumba instructor. She owned her own Zumba studio. She had Hashimoto's disease.
That's what I have.
Yeah. And another thyroid condition, and part of the medication, she had a full head of hair, but she just had no facial hair. So when I wiped off her eyebrows, there was nothing, not one hair on her forehead. I was like, I don't even know what to do. What am I gonna do? So I was like, okay, just give me a minute. Let me just set up. And I walked away, and I was like sweating, like, how am I gonna do this? So I finally got myself together. I did her eyebrows. I had her look in the mirror, and I just remember she started crying, and she was like, holy shit, I have eyebrows and 20 years. And after I saw her cry, I was like, really? Because I don't know what it's like, because I've been doing makeup for so long, and you take it for granted. So after that experience, I was like, well, when I go back to Hawaii, I feel like I need to do something. If I can make someone like that feel so stoked on sweating in Zumba, it's like I should really go back to Hawaii and do something. So that's why I started doing it.
Well, because it seems vain, but there is
of course.
There's this, it affects your self-esteem. Like even like if I go to the beach or in the ocean and I know that the powder is going to come off.
Right.
It's like, oh, I don't want anyone to see that, so I won't dunk my head and things like that.
Yeah, and I was actually telling another one of my clients who is a survivor, when people say like, don't be upset, like look on the bright side, but when you look in your mirror after the hair loss process and you're supposed to start your day, like how are you supposed to be like, oh, it's okay, I have like no hair, no brows, nothing, and I'm gonna have a great day. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I don't get emotional, I'm not gonna get emotional.
Well, it's hard because people don't know what to say, and you think that you're supposed to be strong all the time, and you see all these people and they're smiling and we're cancer warriors, but the truth is this sucks. Like it's scary and
right. Yeah.
So sometimes I'm not always Superwoman.
Right. Yeah, so I'm just marking her. So according to her nose, like right where the bridge is, when I place the pencil right here, that's where technically your brows are supposed to start, but a lot of people, if they're not used to having hair growth out that far, they usually don't even draw it in. So I won't, if after I draw the frame in, if they're not comfortable with their eyebrows coming too far in, I obviously will not do it. I'll bring it in like just a little bit, and then when they come back for their touch-up, if they want to bring it out more, then that's when I'll do it. Okay, you can go. So I'm just going to stay within these lines, and I'm just going to be making hair strokes that follow your natural hair growth. So like up here, you see how your hairs come down? Your hair strokes, the hair strokes that I make will also come down And it'll look really
Awesome.
natural and not that big.
Perfect.
Yeah. Do you like it?
I do like it.
Okay. Let's get started. The first pass that I do, it's going to be just the outline and like a few strokes inside of the frame without numbing. It's just going to feel like the sharp end of a tweezer, like grazing your skin. After I do the right side, I'm going to numb it, put pigment on it. Then I'm going to move over to the left side, do the frame, the middle, pigment, and numb. Then I'm going to come back to the right side and do the second pass. When I do the second pass, it's like the fine tuning of the brow, like all the little brows in between to shape it. You'll be pretty numb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trust me, with going through pain, this will be, you know what I mean?
You'll be fine.
This will be nothing.
Yes, you're right. Okay, so you can lay down. Yes. I'm just cleaning the, like around your brow. I'm not shading your brow here. Because when you do put numbing, it constricts the skin. So it tightens up the skin. So if I put a hair stroke on the skin when it's tight, it'll look nice. But once the numbing wears off, you know, everything expands. So your crispy line is now like a little thicker, like a little fuzzier, and I don't want it to heal like that. So I do the outline first. So everything is like, you know, skinny and crispy. If my client lays still like Casey, then I try and get in as many strokes as I can.
It actually doesn't hurt.
That's perfect. You're the perfect one.
Is it supposed to hurt?
Well, everyone has different, you know, like pain tolerance. I did my own microblading a few years ago, and after every stroke, I sneezed.
Oh, really?
It took me a very long time to finish my brows. Microblading is used with the manual hand tool, so you're actually in control of everything. You know, the pressure that you put, you have to put the right amount of pressure. If you do it too lightly, obviously there's not going to be a stroke there. If you do it too hard onto the skin, it could go too deep, and after healing, it could turn into a keloid, and you don't want that. Where the scar tissue, you know, like everything is raised, so the pressure has to be just right. Powder tattooing or powder brow, ombre, eyebrow tattoo, all of that is done with an electronic, like a real tattoo machine. But with eyebrows, it kind of looks like this, but it's a lot thicker, and there's a small motor in it, and that lasts a little longer than microblading.
How long does microblading last after getting your touch-up?
I usually tell my clients 6 months to a year. It just depends on how well your skin takes the pigment. If you have super oily skin or if you have big pores, it's not going to last as long. But sometimes it could be a good thing, because you know the commitment part of it being on there forever, you know. Sometimes it won't last long at all, so some people want to get the powder brow. The look is also a lot different. Microblading looks like hair. You see the hair strokes?
Looks good.
So out of the ones you were just mentioning, the powder and the ombre,
Mm-hmm.
which one do you recommend the most for the chemo patients?
It's really based on preference, but a lot of my chemo clients like the microblading because it looks natural, you know. It just looks like hair. Once they go through the hair loss process, they kind of don't want makeup looking brows, you know what I mean? They just want it to look like hair. So right now I put more of the pigment that I used over the hair strokes that I already did, just so it can kind of get oversaturated. And then I put the lidocaine on top just to numb it. Now that her skin is open, numbing can seep right in and be more active. So by the time I come back to it, she'll be pretty numb. You can smile.
Okay. This is gonna be like my, I don't know, warrior eyebrows before I start this whole process.
Yes, we are going to make them fierce, Casey. So I'm just masking this side. And here's the numbing gel.
You're almost done with me already?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So as you can tell, I'm grateful too. It makes me cry like with gratitude.
Thank you. I'm thankful that you put your trust in me to slice and dice some eyebrows on you. Keep us updated.
Oh, I will.
Oh, that looks so pretty. Can you see it, Amy?
Yes, it looks good. Automatic brows.
Yay.
The color looks really pretty. It matches.
I'm excited.
Yeah. The aftercare is super easy. Just no sweat, soap, or water. Basically, don't get them wet
Okay.
for 48 hours. So to clean the regular dirt and oil off your face, just use a face wipe.
Okay.
Stay around your brows. Face wipe or a warm washcloth. And then that's it. You're gonna notice maybe like flaking.
Mm-hmm.
So skin, like peeling. Just don't pick at the flakes. Once the flakes happen and fall off, the strokes are gonna disappear with that. But don't freak out. You don't have to call me and tell me that all the strokes are gone, because a few days later, the pigment is going to start resurfacing back to the skin, and that's when it shows up about 40% lighter. It looks like your skin is taking really nicely to the ink.
Is that because I have dry skin generally?
It could be. So if you do have dry skin, the microblading, it does actually retain better than someone that has oilier skin. So after the 2 weeks, if you do use a cleansing oil, you can. Just don't like lather it all up on your brows. And if you do go in the sun, just regular sun protection, your sunscreen, hat, sunglasses. Oh, that looks really pretty. I'm just gonna put a little bit more pigment up here. I can't wait for you to see it. The big reveal. That'll be fun. Okay, I'm gonna help you up, okay? Okay. So swing your legs over. Ready? You can
Oh.
dance.
Wow.
Do you like them? You look so pretty. Oh, don't cry. You're welcome. Well, you can't frown because it makes your eyebrows crooked.
I don't want to cry. They're so pretty.
They look beautiful. So you're gonna get that port put in, you're gonna beat that cancer, and you're gonna come back for your touch-up.
Oh, I'm all right too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna get through this, yeah.
Of course. Why wouldn't you?
I'm so grateful. I have no idea. Because I know what's coming, and at least I feel like I have.
after you lose your breast, you don't even feel like a girl anymore, like human, and so I'm just really grateful.
You okay?
And now I'm happy, like now I'm just happy, like I feel like a girl again right now.
Yeah, with pretty brows.
Exactly. Next time I come, I'm not gonna have hair, but I'm gonna have awesome brows still.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks gorgeous.
Thank you. No, it is. It's happy to.
Yeah. Let me I want a picture.
Oh, I like the arch too. They look so pretty.
Mm-hmm. They look really
I can't
pretty.
believe it's not hair.
Yeah, well, I don't want to touch it with my fingers, but if you look in the mirror.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I can't even believe that's not hair. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So tomorrow and the next, I'd say like 3-4 days, they're gonna appear a little darker than today. That's just because the pigment is settling into the hair strokes. After that, that's when it's gonna start getting itchy, maybe flaky. Once this, the strokes come off with the flakes, you're not gonna have any hair strokes. But a few days later, the pigment's gonna resurface back to the skin.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't freak out.
I won't.
So at that time, once, if the strokes fall off, you can fill it in with powder. So at the end of 2 weeks, they may or may not appear to be a little patchy and uneven, but the way that your skin held on to the pigment today, it looks like your healing's gonna be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're an angel. Thank
Aw,
you.
thank you.
You are.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
feel like you guys are family already.
Of course. So you can text me whenever you want your touch-up.
Okay.
Text me after you get your port.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you.